Today's video is sponsored by Backstage. My name is Derek Bowder. Most people know me as Danny Dorito 23 on social media. Besides being a social media influencer, I am also an actor, writer, director, and a producer. And because of that, one of the questions I get a lot is, how do I become an actor? So today I'm going to go through and tell you what I would do if I was an actor starting from scratch in 2024. After getting comfortable being on camera because of social media, in 2021, I started taking acting classes, and I now have over half a dozen acting credits. Since 2021, a lot of things have changed in the industry. Things have been rocky, to say the least. Ever since these strikes, it feels like the industry as a whole has been contracting. But the good thing is, when you're starting out as an actor, a lot of the roles you're going to be auditioning for are non-union. And in fact, you can start self-submitting right away. But before you do that, you need to get some headshots. And I mean professional headshots. Here's an example of a professional headshot that my manager and I used to submit myself for auditions. Now, the good news is you can pretty much live anywhere in the world and submit for auditions. Thanks to self-tapes, in 2024, you don't have to live in Los Angeles or New York or Atlanta or Albuquerque, which is where I live. You can literally start wherever you're living now. But that means that you might not have a professional headshot photographer in your area. If that's the case, this is what I would do. First off, do not have your friends or family take a picture of you with a phone. Casting directors are going to know right away that is not a professional headshot. I would highly suggest finding a professional headshot photographer that's close to you, that has a good reputation, and based off their website, takes good headshots. Now, depending on where you live, that could mean you eventually need to travel to another part of the country to get those professional headshots. And if you're not sure where to look, you can ask fellow actors, whether that's in an acting class, which we're going to talk about later, or just by researching headshot photography websites. But be careful. There are some headshot photographers out there who charge upwards of thousands of dollars for a set of headshots. You by no means need to spend that kind of money on headshots to get something to get started. But let's say you don't have the money yet. You don't have the means of traveling to that place yet. Maybe you need to save up some money first. Then as a last resort, I would suggest finding a photographer in your area who takes standard portrait photos and show them the headshots that you're trying to emulate, and then see if they can emulate those for you. They're not going to be perfect, but for a set of starter headshots, they're going to be much better than taking pictures with your phone. But where are you going to put those headshots? Well, to start self-submitting without an agent, which we'll also talk about agents a little bit later, you need to set up your acting profiles. There are several different casting websites, which we'll get into in a moment, but no matter which one you pick, you're going to need to set up a profile with your headshots, fill out your resume section, which you most likely won't have any credits for yet, but you can list any special skills or languages that you can speak. Whether you've got training like firearms training, martial arts, horseback riding. Believe it or not, there are a lot of skills or talents that not everybody has that can be one of the factors that lead to you booking a role. So don't sell yourself short. Put all those skills there. When you submit for an audition, you're going to submit a headshot along with a piece of acting evidence, such as an acting reel or a clip from a film, short film, or TV show that you've been in. And I already can hear people going, but I haven't been in any of those things. What do I do? Luckily, a piece of evidence that anybody can use to submit for an audition, and even when submitting to try to acquire an agent, is a self-tape. Self-tapes are the exact thing that you submit when you get an audition. It can be a monologue or a scene from your favorite movie or TV show that showcases your acting ability. I highly suggest doing a scene with a reader because that is what most self-tapes are like. It's very rare nowadays that people ask for a monologue. You can record a self-tape with your phone. In fact, I do it all the time. Just make sure you don't have a lot of background noise, the lighting's not awful, and they can hear you clearly. There are plenty of other videos out there that will show you how to record a self-tape that looks professional from your own home. There are several casting websites out there that you can use to self-submit. The one that you're going to hear the most about is Actors Access. Casting Networks is another website that you're going to hear a lot about when it comes to commercials. Another website that you can use to self-submit for auditions is today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Backstage. Backstage has been around since 1960, so you know they're one of the most trusted and credible names in the industry. Like I said, you don't need an agent to get started. One of the things that I like about Backstage is it's very beginner friendly. It doesn't matter if you've been acting for years or you've never acted a day in your life. Backstage has thousands of casting calls from around the world, so there's something for everyone. And it's not just for traditional actors. Think voice artists, models, UGC opportunities, opportunities, even production and crew gigs. Plus, you can create saved searches based on what matters to you, like location, production type, pay, union status, and whenever there's a match for one of those saved searches, a notification will be delivered to your inbox daily so you never miss an opportunity. So what are you waiting for? Getting started is as easy as creating your profile, uploading your headshots, reels, clips, and voiceover samples. Did I mention you get unlimited media uploads? Not every casting website does that. And you can start applying to thousands of casting calls on the platforms that you'd like to. So what are you waiting for? Get started today by visiting Backstage.com and using the promo code DannyD to get your first month of Backstage for just $5. Who knows? Maybe I'll even see you on set. And thank you so much to Backstage for sponsoring this video. Now that we've covered the basics on how to start submitting yourself for auditions, I find it extremely important to talk about training, because one of the most common things you'll hear as an actor is that if you're not on set, then you should be auditioning or in a classroom. Some people think, I don't need acting classes. It's just memorizing lines and showing up to set. There is a lot more to acting than you would think. There are a ton of techniques out there, and the best way to learn is by doing it. But how do you find an acting class? Well, not all acting classes are created equal. If you've never acted before, I highly suggest finding a beginner-friendly class. If you don't live in an area where there are local in-person acting classes, you can actually join an acting class over Zoom. There are a ton of acting classes in LA. I've taken some online that are in LA. And that's one of the pros of being in today's industry, is that you can pretty much take an acting class online from anywhere, and it's actually fairly common. And with classes, you'll not only find yourself in a nurturing environment where you can grow as an actor, but some of them will actually help you with audition prep, which is crucial when it comes to submitting those self-tapes. Not only will you learn the ins and outs of acting, but you can also find a class that might have a showcase, which is where you will do an audition in front of an agent or a manager. And if you stand out enough, like I did in one of my acting classes, you might even land your first agent that way. And if it's an in-person class, you should definitely ask about auditing the class. Now, you won't be able to participate when you audit the class. When you audit a class, you basically get to sit in the back of the room and see how the class is taught. It is meant to be totally free to audit a class, so be aware of anybody who might be trying to scam you by making you pay to audit a class. And if the class seems like the right fit for you, then you can sign up and go in confident knowing that you're not going to be scammed. Now, if you're in college or even on the younger side, maybe you're under 18, look into your school's acting programs. I know my high school had a drama class, which I kind of regret not taking. Some schools even have theater departments or after-school improv programs. Now, when it comes to getting auditions, you will definitely not get as many auditions by self-submitting as you would if you had representation, such as an agent or a manager. Again, you're going to want to find an acting class that has showcases. That's a great way to get an agent without having any credits. You can also submit to agencies through their agency websites. That doesn't always work. Another way you could maybe submit to them is by being referred to another actor that's already repped by that agency, or sending a cold call email, which I would definitely do some research about before you do that, because you only get one first impression. But again, you're going to want to make sure that you at least have some headshots and a self-tape or something else that can showcase your ability, whether it's a student film or a short film that maybe you made for a class project. Just make sure that it looks as professional as possible. Everybody gets an agent or a manager when the time is right. You can't rush these things, so maybe you just need to get some credits on your own. But as long as you stay persistent and keep working on your skills as an actor and building up your resume, you will eventually get that representation. But just remember, just because you have an agent or a manager doesn't mean all the work gets done for you. You still have to be putting in 100% effort, making those self-tapes as good as you can, and keeping your resume and materials up to date. Because agents will get mad if you don't do that. But as you're going through this process of starting as an actor, just make sure to stay positive. It's rocky out there, like I said. Don't get discouraged. As long as you're not in it for fame and fortune and you're genuinely passionate about the craft, then just keep auditioning, taking classes, building up your resume, adding those clips to show evidence of your acting ability as you go, and make sure that any films or projects that you're a part of, give you credit on IMDb. Also keep that up to date and just keep going. This is a very unforgiving business. There's a lot of rejection, and at times it feels like it's just never gonna happen. But remember, it's those who remain resilient that are going to be successful. But as a bonus tip, remember that you can always make your own materials. Get together with your fellow actors and make your own short films. Make content for social media. Making content for social media has made me way more comfortable on camera than I ever thought I would be. Being a multi-hyphenate in the industry, by not only being an actor, but also being a writer, director, and a producer, has allowed me to make my own short films, which I then in turn can use as evidence for my acting profiles. As you get deeper into this industry, you're going to hear more and more that you can't just be an actor anymore. You really got to get your feet wet in other things, whether it's being behind the camera, in front of the camera, a creative, and anything else that will get you on-set experience. A lot of people start out as background actors. I did not do that, but you would be surprised how much you can learn by just being on set as a fly on the wall. But thank you for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos like this. I'd be more than happy to elaborate on something specific. Thank you again to Backstage for sponsoring the video. I wish you all the best of luck on your journey as an actor, and I hope to even see some of you on set someday. Good luck!